Hi everyone, today we'll do gimbap. This is a delicious Korean snack that often is mistaken for sushi, despite actually having an origin in the Japanese occupation of the Korean peninsula during the war. That's why the similarities. But since then has gained a notorious popularity, and the flavors that are put into the roll are actually quite different from the Japanese version. So today we'll do a version with beef and a traditional pickle called danmuji, which is daikon pickled in turmeric and vinegar. So for that you will need 2 leaves of bay leaf, 2 cloves of garlic already peeled and halved, a portion of daikon, 1 teaspoon of turmeric, 1 coffee spoon of whole pepper grains, black pepper preferably, 100 grams of sugar, 1 tablespoon of salt, 350 ml of rice vinegar, and the same quantity of water. So we'll start by mixing everything but the daikon in a pan that goes to the stove. And you bring to a boil to dissolve the sugar mainly. When it's dissolved, you can put the daikon in, cover with a paper towel, and set aside for 2 to 3 hours. So we pass then to the next step of our gimbap, the rice. For this you will need 200 grams of short grain Japanese or Korean rice, 260 ml of water, 1 tablespoon of sesame oil, and half of a teaspoon of salt. You'll start by rinsing the rice. You'll need a bowl and a sieve for this. Rice into the sieve. And you will fill the bowl with water 3 times till the rice starts to run clear. You might need 1 or 2 times more. So after rinsing the rice, tackle it a bit dry and put it in the pan. And bring it to a boil. Once it's boiling, lower the heat to very low heat and cover it. Let it cook for 15 minutes. After 15 minutes, the rice should be drying. And you can switch off the stove and put your rice in a bowl or a big dish. With a wooden spoon to not smash it, and you can start mixing the sesame oil, and the salt. This is the main difference with sushi. We do it with sesame oil and salt instead of vinegar and sugar. You can also make this version if you feel like, but to stay true to the Korean one, we can use the sesame oil. You grab a fan or something that you like, a book or something you can throw air with, to mix at the same time with the spoon and with air so that you dry the rice while the oil mixes. Like this. Try not to smash the rice, we just want it through. We're gonna dry it and make it shiny with the oil and the salt. A bit like we do with the sugar and the vinegar. And don't worry, if you made the rice through this process, it will stick enough when it dries a bit to make the gimbap. And cover with a towel and set aside to cool down, but not to get too dry. We pass now to the carrot and the spinach. For this you will need a handful of spinach, 1 carrot, 2 cloves of garlic, and enough salt and sesame oil to season it all. It's also of use to get a big bowl full of cold water with ice, so that we can put the spinach after blanching them. You can start by also heating up some water to blanch the spinach. And in the meantime, you can peel the carrot. And start cutting it like this in julienne, meaning big chunks and after stripes, like that. And you season it with half of the salt. And be sure that you massage it a bit and leave it and set it aside while you do the spinach so that the carrots sweat and take out water. And you blanch the spinach for 30 to 40 seconds. And you drain them and put them in the cold water till they totally cool down. And you can then take the spinach and squeeze them good. To take all the possible water out that you can. And you can then mince the 2 cloves of garlic, small ones or a big one, just. Add it to the spinach. And season them with a bit of salt and of sesame oil. And mix well. And set aside. So we pass now to the elements we want to cook. There are three different ones. We're gonna have the carrots that we did before, 200 grams of cuts from the flank of the beef, meaning onglet in French, and 2 eggs. For seasonings, you're gonna need some cooking oil, some pepper, some salt, 1 clove of garlic, 1 tablespoon of soy sauce, and 1 tablespoon of sugar. So let's start. You can start by seasoning the beef. Take the beef parts and you're gonna get rid of the tendinous part. And you can then punch slightly the meat so it gets flat. We don't want it to gain too much volume, so it will be nice in the kimbap. You can then cut it in stripes. And beat them slightly again. One last time. You can also do this with ground meat, or actually no meat at all, if you're vegetarian or vegan. It's your choice. I find this flank of beef proper for that. So after this, in a mixing bowl, you're gonna put your beef and mince the garlic clove that you had, a big one. If you have small, you can use 2. And some pepper. The sugar. And the salt, some of it. Attention, not too much because you're gonna use soy sauce that's already salty. And you can mix this marinade. And set aside. In the meantime, we can start doing the eggs. So you get a bowl. And you mix them like to do an omelette with a bit of salt and pepper. You mix them. And you start heating up your pan in low heat. If you're not sure if your pan sticks or not, you can use kitchen paper. It's a trick so that you don't make a mistake of sticking the egg. You can put a bit of oil on it. And throw the eggs. Doesn't need to be a circle, but of course would help it to be, so model it as such. And when it looks ready, set aside. We raise now a bit the heat for the beef, medium to high. And we still fry it quickly, just to gain color, otherwise it will get chewy. And take it off. Wipe your pan. And you can then stir fry your carrots. As you can see, there is water because we salted them before, so get rid of it. Stir fry it and stir fry it over a bit of oil. Just for 30 seconds. We will now assemble our kimbap. Here are all the ingredients we've done so far and the rice. You're also gonna need some water so that you can dip your fingers to get rid of the rice as you spread it through the nori leaves that we're gonna use. I'm gonna use already roasted ones, but if you have some that are not roasted, you can actually just flame them with a torch, or if you have a gas stove, you can quickly grill it. Attention that they have like a shiny side and a rugged side, and the shiny side should be down. We can start spreading our rice on 2/3 of the sheet, counting from down. Press the rice down as you go. Like this. You can do the order that you want. We're gonna start a bit apart from the edge so that it will stay in the center. I'll start with the meat. Then the carrot. And the radish. The egg. The spinach. And you can close it with some shiso leaves. Now we're gonna do the most difficult but also fun part, which is to roll it. It's gonna be from down to up. We have the help of our bamboo mat to do that. It's very similar to sushi. It consists in coming with this edge to this edge and roll it through. And you have to tighten it at the same time that you roll it. Don't worry if you don't get it at the first time. With practice we go there. Even if not at first, you can help. So you have to grab the ingredients so they don't fall, and then try that this edge go to the center, and you tighten it at the same time, like this. You grab it very firmly and out, and you take this part out, and you continue rolling it very tightly, like this, so that you have a beautiful roll and a tight one, like that. You can serve and cut immediately, or if you are afraid that the rice is gonna fall apart, you can also save it for a bit in the fridge. Don't worry. You can continue, however, making the rest of the rolls with the ingredients that you have. You can, before cutting it, brush with a bit of sesame oil so it gets shiny and aromatic. So to cut your roll, you should have a wet towel aside so that you clean the rice from the knife and you get clean cuts. And here you have your gimbap. You're now ready to go for a nice picnic in the beginning of spring. And you know that I'm here for all your questions. If you haven't subscribed yet to my channel, you can do it below. And I see you next time for a new recipe. Bye!